Hi everyone, welcome to this WSB Cape Met preview for 2023. You're not seeing things twice. We did have a Met preview last night with Chris Sturdy from Good for the Game, but unfortunately due to load shedding, Oracle Rugby, or the Oracle or Oraclepedia, whatever one you want to call him, Gavin Cohen was unable to make it, but he's here now. He loves his horse racing, this man. He runs a horse racing WhatsApp group, and it's good to welcome you, Gav. I know you had to rush home from work today. You make it in time, though.
I did, yes, with just a minute or two. So, yeah, well, 3 minutes ago. Thanks very much, Brenton. As you said, rugby's my racing's my second passion, South African racing after rugby. And I've just found that over the years, I've seemed to get a little bit better at it than I have been. It's one of those betting angles that you've got to find your way around. And I've set myself some rules which I generally stick to. And I've done all right over the years, so not too bad. I'm not an absolute expert like these guys that you see on TV, but I certainly know my way around a race card, and I can find a winner or two every now and then.
Well, I've got a rule I stick to, and that's I never have my first beer the day before Met until at least 4 o'clock, and it's 4 o'clock now, so I'm going to have that beer.
I've just poured one.
Gav, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the betting here at WSB, of course, the sponsors, and then at the same time, you've given me a few of your selections. So I'm going to bring them up at the bottom of the screen there. And
Head Girl's wrong. It's not Head Girl, unless I got the number wrong.
Did I get it wrong straight away?
Yeah, it's Apple Catcher. So a couple of days ago, these were very evenly matched horses, Apple Catcher and Head Girl. And while it looked like an almost match race, I've gone for Apple Catcher, and it's below my punting level. My punting level with racing's 2-1. Place bet I will go down as far as 7-10, but. I think that this horse is very hard to beat. It's. I just want to just check something out. Yeah, sorry. It was its maiden run, and at a price as well. This horse won at 50-1. So I don't think anyone expected it to win the first time out. It's got Sean Veal on. Yes, sorry. I've just written stuff down. I'm looking at my notes over here from last night. The Pura Vida came out to win from this form line. 1.5 lengths or one and a quarter lengths behind Apple Catcher, or 1 length behind Apple Catcher, came out to win. So yeah, this is a very impressive horse. It's rightly favourite. I don't think that Head Girl's got any chance in this race. The one other horse that I did like was 100th It's the second biggest price or third biggest price in the race. Louis McCotter rides for Mike Stewart at 14-1. The draw, interestingly, with tomorrow, we're expecting a lot of wind between 30 and 50 kilometers an hour here in Cape Town. So the bigger draws, especially on the straight races, favor the wind favors the bigger draws on the straight races. So while Apple Catcher is number 2, it'll be drawn on the inside, and 8 isn't quite on the outside. People are expecting the horses to run on the outside of the track. So that brings 105th into the race. It's 4th behind Alende in its last run, which was on New Year's Eve. It's ran behind Signora Vittoria, which is the horse that came out and beat Sharapova, I think it was last week, in a 1400. So the form has definitely been franked in this race, and I think that at 14-1, it's certainly a runner in this race. And as I said, I've ruled out Head Girl, so Head Girl won't take part in any of my exotic bets. And the first jackpot starts in race 1. I'm just going to do Apple Catcher and 105th Avenue, just the 2. I couldn't find anything else in this race that got my attention.
Well, I'm going to bring up race 2 now, but just to mention the people, some people, of course, once a year or twice a year punters, perhaps only want to see the JMB Met. We're going to cover that in the 9th race. I was going to do it up front, and then I totally forgot. But we'll do that in the 9th race.
No, you should do it last, because people will watch the video right till the end.
I reckon they'll use fast forward. But we'll do it in order, but to mention, we'll bring in that up. But let me get you race 2. Unfortunately, once again, my monitor not working, so I've got to do it on the same screen. It'll take a little bit longer. But there we got race 2. We got the favourite here, Green Falcon, priced at 5-2. And while Gavin talks us through that, I'll bring up his selections.
Yeah, so you would have heard last night Chris mentioning the 20-1 aspect. So I found that as well, and that's why I sent you a message to tell you to call me after the show last night, because this horse is absolutely overpriced. It's been gelded recently. Even its last run, running 8th, was a reasonable run. It wasn't too bad. The run before that, the penultimate run, was 3rd behind Nevada King and Montine. Montine coming out to win at 1,600, and Nevada King coming out 2nd in his race. These were a couple of months ago, so it hasn't run it has run recently, but not too long ago. Out of the favourites, listen, I'm just going to tell you that this, I grabbed the 20-1 yesterday already. This is a fantastic price, and again, drawn on the wind, the correct side of the track from the wind. When it comes to favourite number 1, I don't like that inside draw, and at 19, at 5-2, too short for me. Out of the favourites, I'm going to suggest On Board is the other one that can come out and win. This, just to go back to this aspect started out in KZN in Scottsville. It was 75-1 on its first race. It came 6th. It's had a couple of thirds, and its race level has improved. It's starting to run better in better races, and there's nothing much in this race. It's a maiden. I can't see anything else. Possibly, if you want to go a little bit wider, you could chuck in Sir William. You could even throw in Carry Cow, which is the second favourite, but I don't like this favourite. It's on the wrong side of the track, and it hasn't really impressed me. I know it's Richard Fourie riding for Justin Snaith, but I'm sticking to the 4 and the 10, and I'm expecting the 10 to win this race, and if not win, come very close. So I could even suggest an exacta here of 4 and 10, and if you really want to, you can chuck in the 9. But I don't like this favourite. I would leave this favourite out.
Right. Yeah. The only thing that surprises me is that this 20-1 is still here. Probably 16.
Some of them are out at 14 and 16-1 at the moment. Yes. So, it's.
I think this is. Look, it's definitely going to shorten. I can tell you, I'm getting on straight after the show. I'd forgotten to get on, and I see there's still 20-1 available. I'll be getting on that for sure. Let me bring up the third race then, and while you start talking us through the third race, which is race number 3 here, and Bonica is your favorite here at 33-10. Looks a fairly open race, Gav.
Yes, so this Bonica, again, I'm brassing another favorite. I'm brassing another Justin Snaith, Richard Fourie combination. Nothing out of the last couple of runs, but this horse wins on the 23rd of November. Just about every horse in the race has run, but not a single place. So absolutely nothing out of this form line. I have no idea under which sun they found this to be the favorite. I can't make any case for Bonica, so I'm brassing. That's now my 3rd favorite in a row. I'm brassing. I've gone for Who Do You Love, and I'm very excited to say it'll be the first time that we see Candice Bass-Robinson on the podium for the day. I don't see her in the first couple of races coming up, but certainly race 3, number 4. Who Do You Love? Other than that, I'm going to say that. Other than that, I'm going to say that Live My Life at 9-2 has got my interest, and it's got my interest for not necessarily a peculiar reason. It's got its form has been franked by Pacific Green, coming out and winning as well. Another Justin Snaith runner. Live My Life is Dennis Dryer's only runner of the day. There are 4 trainers. There are 4 horses running on the day for 4 different trainers that are the only runner of the day. So I'm going to tell you that Who Do You Love at 5-1, 9-2, even 4-1 is a lot of value. And if you want to chuck something else in, you're going to be chucking in Live My Life. But I can't make a single case for Bonica. Absolutely nothing. I have no idea why that horse is favourite. I'm going to tell you they got the wrong favourite here. I'm going to use my rugby term.
Right, I'm going to go move to race 4.
There aren't any outsiders in this race. The biggest price is being 10-1. Veronica Mars coming back down in trip. There's nothing. I always look down the boards as well, and you'll see that with a couple of my other picks later on. There's no big prices here to to make quartets pay. This is a very open race from it's a price restrictive race, should I say? No 20 to 1s, no 33 to 1s, something like that. And yeah, I mean, I've just got it down to who do you love? It's the first leg of the place accumulator here, and I've got to believe that who do you love will get you through. I'm not a place accumulator punter, and we got Keegan DeMello on. I'm expecting him to win this race. Yeah, for me, that should be the favourite.
Yeah, well, hopefully Candace will give you a mention in the post-race interview. I know you do enjoy those on occasion. Gav, let's move on to race number 4. It's the first leg of the pick 6. Captain's Ransom, our hot pot favourite here at 5 to 10. Right,
so I'm going to tell you that everybody that I've spoken to in the last, I'm going to say month, has been talking about, in fact, since that King's Plate Day. I'm going to tell you that everyone's telling me they're bankering it. Why are they bankering it? Because it's the only odds-on horse on the day, and they feel they have to because they want to win a 10 million rand pick 6. They want to spend 500 rand, and they want to have 1% so they can get their 50 grand. I'm going to tell you, do not banker the captain. This is an open race. Initially I'd line it up with 2 horses. I am including it. Make no mistake. I'm not brassing this favorite. I'm just telling you not to banker it. Captain Ransom banker in this race for me. The reason why it's 5 to 10 is there's only 6 horses in the race. It's a great horse, fair enough. But if there were 10 horses in the race, this horse would be 15 to 10. It wouldn't be 5 to 10. It's 5 to 10 because the competition is smaller in numbers rather than smaller in ability. This Desert Miracle ran 1,000 last time out. It motored home. It got boxed in at about the 400, motored home down, and it finished, I think it finished 4th. It finished 3rd, sorry. It's now going up in trip. Desert Miracle I don't think has run a 1,600 before. Captain's Ransom, his preferred distance is 1,600. So honestly, for this horse to win, it has to have everything going its way, because if something doesn't go its way, I'm going to suggest that, again, let's look at prices here. Ciao Bella at 12 to 1, Chansonette at 13 to 1, for me, offers serious value in a race that they can win. In fact, I'm going to suggest that Chansonette is probably the right one to win this race. The right one to beat it. So I would also be covering with exactas of Captain's Ransom first, onto Chansonette second, and Ciao Bella second. But I'll also be punching these 2 on the nose as well, and I will be including them in my pick 6. I am throwing around ideas in my head of actually going field here, and as soon as I hear people tell me they want to bank a Captain Ransom, I'm not saying it's not going to win. I'm just telling you it's very, very dangerous to banker it, because you're bankering it for the wrong reason. You're bankering it because it's the only odds-on shot, and you think it's the only horse that can win, guaranteed to win, or almost a certainty to win. So for me, this race is wide open, far more open than the last 3 races that we've spoken about. And I'm definitely, I'm going these 3. Otherwise, I'm going field. I haven't made a decision yet.
No, that's the problem now, because I mean, if you not brass it, but if you decide you're trying to beat Captain's Ransom, there's nothing worse than going for 3 or 4 horses and horse number 6 wins. It's almost like you've done the hard work and you haven't been able to get over the line.
Yeah, so this race gives you the opportunity of taking the field at a very low cost of only 6 times. So it's not like further races down where you want to go field, you're going to need to go 18 times. So as soon as your perm might be 200 rand without that race, and you stick in an 18 horse field, suddenly it's costing you 3,600 rand. So it can rocket very quickly. So this is a kind of race that you mustn't be afraid to go field, because although Captain Ransom is probably the best horse in this field, it certainly can win. I'm not saying it's not going to win. It's too open for me. It's not cut and dried.
Right, well, let's move on to the next race then, Gav, and that is a race number 5. This will be am I right in saying this will still be the first leg? Will this be the first leg of the second jackpot, or is it no longer the first leg? I know
this is the jackpot. This is the jackpot race. This is race 1, jackpot 2. Yes, so jackpot 1 is 1 to 4, and then it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it's 9, 10, 11, 12. They're doing 3. All right. So
we've got Nevada King here, Gav.
I've got a few in this race. So this race is quite wide open for me. I do have Nevada King involved, but it's not my first choice. Future Turn, Master Point, huge value at 20 to 1. I just want to see what I've written down here. It's carrying 56 When I look at the weights over here, 56 is one of the lower ones. In fact, it is the lowest weight in the race. It's a 1400, so the weight is not a massive difference. Master Point, yes, 20-1. It's drawn 9. There is a turn, obviously. I'm not too worried about that. Where I have found a lot of value as well as Future Turn. I think this is a likely winner. Master Point is more of a punt. I'd like it to win. I'm not expecting it to win. Future Turn, I'm expecting to be in the first couple. I just want to see who the favorite is here. Favorite is, oh, that's right, Nevada King. Nevada King can win. It's a very bad draw. I'm going to suggest it's drawn in False Bay. It's so far away. In Durbanville in the pointing. This race is open from that perspective that I found a couple. I can make a case for one or two more, possibly Red Sash, maybe Winter Air. But I think I've narrowed this down to just the 3 horses, Future Turn, Master Point, and if Nevada King, which is, for me, is definitely the best horse in the race. If Nevada King can get out of that draw, Nevada King can definitely win. So a bit of value with Please God Larina, Gavin Larina, number 1, Future Turn, and Master Point, Aston Aries, riding for Glenn Cotson at 20-1. Listen, didn't run too well prior to this, but in its last race, Intimidator's come out to frank the form with Justin Snaith and Richard Furey and Augusta Blue running third, both in a 1600. So it may be a touch too soft for this horse, but if I look at its previous runs, it has run a 1600. It was in December. It came 16th. Its last, it was 50-1. I think it's improved since then. It's the third, or it'll be the third run after that. Master Point at 20-1 's definitely got value, but I'm expecting Future Turn to give Nevada King a proper run here. So just 3 horses for me. And like I said to you yesterday, Brent, what I like to do here is give punters horses to not leave out. I'm not telling you how to play your pick 6 or your jackpot or your PA. I'm just telling you these are horses that I've identified with value, and you can stick them in. Pick 6 I haven't even worked out tomorrow. I generally take a straight line where I take 1 horse in each race. It's never won before. I don't think it's come close. I'll do that tomorrow morning as well. But I generally go quite light. I try and go maybe 1 field or 2 fields, including that 6-1, the 6 horses in the race, and then I go light with 2 or 3 horses in the others. We're moving on to onto a banker race time now. 6. We can start. Yeah, race number 6, where you can start finding some bankers.
I hope I put your right horses down for race 6. Let's have a look.
I've got Golden Tatjana.
Yes.
Dumbledore and William West. All right. So
okay.
All right. The one I really like here is the favorite of the 3 that I've got is Golden Tatjana. Now, this is an interesting race from a banker's point of view, as well as a lot of punters will look to banker this Abdicator, or also for the same reason. It's the second. It's now the 3rd shortest horse on the day, but it's the 2nd shortest horse in the pick 6. They're looking at this and they're saying, well, it's 14-10. I might as well banker it. It's got to win, and I'll go large in the other ones. And I'm going to tell you, I've left out the Abdicator. I'm not even going to put it in my perm. I'm not interested in paying for it in my perm. I don't think it can win here. I think that this Golden Tatjana, drawn 12, again on the right side of the track. Dumbledore, drawn on the right side of the track, number 15. Those are the value to me. Golden Tatjana had an absolutely excellent run on the 7th of January on, I think that was the King's Plate Day. I can't remember if it was the 7th or not. I think that's what it was. Beating the likes of Speeding Bullet, beating Gimme Lightning, the Justin Snaith, Richard Furey runner. I backed Golden Tatjana on the day at around 10-1. And this was a cracking run, and it was on from draw number 2. Today, Golden Tatjana has the right side of the track. Got Grant van Niekerk is one of 3 jockeys riding in all races tomorrow. He's got 12 rides. The other 2, Richard Furey and Keegan DeMello. But at 6-1, I'm very interested. The Abdicator. I don't think that this run on the 14th of January is any good. It was favourite on the day, 28-10. I don't think it's the same kind of horse. This is a juvenile, so obviously horses will improve from the last time that they've run. But I think Golden Tatjana is the right one to be on here. I'm going to suggest this is a possible banker for me in the pick six. I do take a couple of them. I'll be bankering this in one of them. And I'm going to stick in the likes of Dumbledore at 14-1. I'm very interested. That was also a great run at Kenilworth in December for Vaughan Marshall corner alpha, and it's the same combination riding tomorrow. At 14-1, I'm interested. There's a couple of horses that have run only once here. So that Dumbledore winning on its first time out. First Origin is a PE horse that won in an 800. Gavin Smith bringing him down. Listen, he's on the right side of the track. Also a first-time winner. Maiden winner on its first attempt, and obviously the Abdicator as well. But I don't like that Abdicator run didn't impress me like these two did. I would have also looked at something like Razkova winning on its first time, but a disappointing run second time out. So yeah, if you want to go wider, listen, stick in Abdicator if you want to, but I can't have that. For me, this is down to number 12 and number 15. And sorry, William West was the other one. That was second to that one ran in front of Golden Tatjana in the last race, 1,000 meters, and nothing separating them. William West at 40-1 and Golden Tatjana at 14-1. Still impressed. Speeding Bullet beating them. And obviously, Golden Tatjana had beaten Speeding Bullet in its collateral form in its first run. So, yeah, I've narrowed this down to just 2 runners, and I'm happy with that.
Right, let's move on then to the 7th race, where I know you possibly this is a banker for you, though it's a wide open race at 4-1 the field. You've only given me one selection on this race, Gav.
Yeah, Brent, I reckon this Royal Aussie should be 15-10 or 2-1. This is a banker for me. This is a Justin Snaith, Richard Fourie winner. I think we might have to wait all the way until the 7th race before we see Justin Snaith going onto the podium. This is a cracking horse. It's a 1600. This the other one, you know, I was at Durbanville when Max Otter won. I was very impressed with that. It's a big price. It's drawn one. It's a great draw in this case. So Max the Otter possibly an outsider here. I think they're fighting for second place. Pasternom is another outsider. Dean Kanemayer, Keegan de Mello, 20-1. Billy Spellbound, you can chuck that in. Dave the King, you could chuck in. But I think the winner here is Royal Aussie. I'll definitely be bankering it in one or two of my small pick sixes. But if in my larger pick six, I will include the likes of Dave the King, Billy Spellbound, Pasternom, Max the Otter, and probably even See It Again. So, sorry, that's another one. See It Again is the Michael Roberts' only runner on the day with Rachel Vineker. You have to put it in if you're going a little bit wider in that race, because these guys don't come down to Cape Town for one run to waste their time. They've moved this horse all the way down here. I suppose it is a bit wide, but if you're not, don't be scared to bank a Royal Aussie here. This is a great horse and it's a great price. It should be shorter.
Right, let's go on to the next race then, race number 8. And it's the Cape Flying Championship. We got Princess Calla here, the 4-1 favorite. Another open race, Gavin. And while you start us all there, I'll bring up your selections.
Yeah, so Princess Calla. Yeah, so for me, this is down to 4 horses, but I have left out 2 horses that you could probably add in here that I picked up today after speaking to you. Number 5, Elysian Chief, goes back into that one trainer, one runner for the day. It's the only runner for Corrie Lensley. He's ridden by Muzieni. It's a Joburg horse, and the Joburg horses tend to do quite well when they come down to the Cape. So I'm going to include that as well. So yes, in my pick 6, I'm going reasonably wide here. Princess Calla, the only horse drawn on the right side of the track in all my selections. So if the wind is blowing, I'm going to say Princess Calla wins this race. But if it's not, and it's a bit calm at that moment, or there's a bit of a lull or a squall or whatever you want to call it, that brings Isi Vungu Vungu into the race. It brings Cruise Control into the race at a nice price. Cruise Control, a Fairview horse. It's won the last 3 in a row. Gavin Smith brings it down. It hasn't run in 3 months, ridden by JP van der Merwe. I'm definitely including Cruise Control, because if I've got the wind wrong in this race, the winner's going to come out of 1, 2, 4, or 5. On the other side of the draw, the only other horse I could suggest that you go for is possibly Sergey at 25-1, but now I'm stretching it. Rio Karari in the middle of the track. But honestly, I think this is Princess Calla. If the wind's in the right place, will win this race. And if not, if it opens the door for the others, then it could be anything of 1, 2, 4, or 5. So this is probably the most open race that I've found so far on the day.
Right, let's move on then to the Met, which is, of course, the main race of the day. It's the 9th race on the card and the final leg of the pick 6. I'm just hoping I'm going to be alive running into this final leg. Gav, take us through the Met.
All right, I'm going to tell you, you want a banker, make it snappy. If you want to, I've actually, I don't know if I put Linebacker in. I don't think I did. The other one,
Linebacker 33 to 1.
No, I didn't put that in. Golden.
Well, you sent it to me though, because I got it on the selections.
Oh, okay. Linebacker. No, I wouldn't have picked that. Cousin Casey, number 14. Supposed to be Cousin Casey.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving you the quartet: Golden Ducat, Make It Snappy, Jet Dark, and Cousin Casey. That's the quartet. Those are the 4 horses across the line first. I can't have Comedy Dung. Can't have that. Sparkling Water, I can't have. El Mortana, I can't have. I know it one that beat that Charles Dickens the other day. I'm going to tell you can banker Make It Snappy. Make It Snappy will win this race. Why is Make It Snappy 4 to 1? I'll tell you why. It's only had Louis McCourtois on it. It's got Keegan de Mello on. It's draw number 2. It's in the best draw it can possibly be in. It's carrying 51 kilograms, and it's won its last 4 runs. It came 3rd in its opening ride. Louis McCourtois ridden 4 of the races, of which 3 of them he's won. Now I'm going to suggest this is exactly the same as what happens in the Curry Cup, Brent. You get the lighties or the B team getting them to the final, and the Springboks come back and say, right, we're playing now. That's what's happening here. Keegan de Mello has jumped on Louis McCourtois' ride, saying, right, you've ridden this horse. I'm now getting on. So this is jockey up for me. This is 4 in a row. This is lowest weight. This is Hollywood at Hollywood Stadium. Make It Snappy will win this race. You don't need to go wide here. This is a banker for me, and I'm not joking. Jet Dark will give it a run. Cousin Casey will give it a run. Golden Ducat at 33 to 1, back end of quartets and trifectas, but I think I've got the quartet here. I think these four horses are the quartet. I'm going to take a Make It Snappy banker onto the other 3 for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That'll cost me R6, and I'm likely to pick up probably about 4 or 5 grand quartet if this arrives. But I don't know what all the fuss is about with telling me that there's 16, 17, 18 other runners in this race. There's one horse in this race. It's Make It Snappy. You can put the result in and pay the punters. This one's race over. I have no idea. I know why it's 4 to 1, sorry, but it shouldn't be 4 to 1. This should be 6 to 10. This is probably one of the best horses in South Africa at the moment. And in this field, it's head and shoulders above. This is the winner.
Right, confident call them from Gavin in the meta. I'll tell you what will happen, Gavin. I know how these things work. I took Linebacker off and put Cousin Casey up there. Linebacker's going to come home at 33 to 1 in this race. It would be Murphy's Law.
Stick it in your quartet then. Yeah, I'm not having it. Sorry.
No problem. Right, let's move on to the next race. This is the race number 10. It's the Western Cape Stayers Handicap. We've got a strong favourite, highly fancied here, Nebraska at 5 to 2. And after that, the field's got a very open look to it again, Gavin.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you Nebraska should win this race. I definitely include Nebraska. It's not a banker for me. It should win. But if it doesn't win, I'm going to suggest that the likes of Chrome Yellow at a reasonable price, 6 to 1. I don't know how reasonable that is, but it's reasonable. And Salvatore Mundi, Gavin Larino again for Justin Snaith. I heard the comments from Justin Snaith on Silver Host. They're expecting a fantastic run here. I think it's probably too short at 5 to 1. I mean, these races, they stay as races. You don't really want to get too involved here, so you want to go a bit wider. You can probably chuck in Senso Unico as well, maybe even Rex Union. But I honestly think this race will be down to Nebraska, Chrome Yellow, and Salvatore Mundi. I think that's what it's down to. I think they got the right favourite here. I wouldn't be surprised if it wins. It's a great horse. But I can't be having Silver Host. I think Silver Host is too short. Should be 15, 20 to 1. And out of these ones with prices, Rex Union's probably the only one that's got a price for me that can come close here.
Yeah, Rex Union I see is 20 to 1 there. Right, Gav, let's move on to the next race. We've got 2 races left, and I know you've only given me 1 selection in each, so I'm going to be interested in this. We've got the World Invitational here, and Veldskun is your favorite here at 4 to 1.
All right, here's Louis Makotwa riding for Brett Crawford, number 11, 1200, right side of the track. Michael Faraday, who's probably given a bit of a run for its money.
Just explain that, Gav. Just explain that for a second. 1,200 meters is a straight, am I right?
Yeah, so this is a straight.
Okay.
1,000, 1,100, 1,200, all straight races. So there's no turn. If there's a turn, the wind's not a factor because outside draws will come across to join up and they'll bunch up. But in straight races, they have the ability to just run straight. What often happens is they tend to move over to the side of the track that has better going. So in other words, better on the feet of the horses. And also that's less wind affected. So what's quite nice about races 11 and 12 is you get the opportunity of seeing how that goes earlier in the day. So you go and look at what happened in the straight races earlier in the day, and you'll get a fair idea of whether the wind is a factor or not. And we're expecting heavy wind tomorrow. So 30 k's to 50 k's an hour. I know that you've bet on golf before. When the wind gets up above 30 kilometers an hour, you know that only players that can play in the wind are the ones to go for. The rest of them, you can brass them. So yes, in this case, you've got to look for the higher draws. And that's why I said with Princess Calla earlier in that earlier race, it's the only one that can win from the outside, in my opinion. And if the wind isn't a factor, it brings those other 4 horses that are on the inside back into the race because the wind is a big factor. It's protected on that side of the track. Yes,
so you're expecting the wind to be coming across, and then that will be sheltered.
Yes, correct.
The wind direction's important, basically, as well.
In Cape Town, if it blows, it blows. Yeah, I mean, if it's a headwind or a tailwind, I don't think that's going to be too much of a factor. It is a southeaster, so it will be a tailwind.
Okay. No, I'm just curious. I'm curious on that because I tend not to worry about it.
It'll be a headwind.
No. Okay, no, that's great. Let's have a look.
But listen, so I'm going to tell you that this is a banker for me. I can't see anything in this race beating Veldskun. However, Kitcher-Cole, the only runner for Duncan Howells. Duncan Howells has come from Durban. He's put a 61 kilogram Bernard Fade Herb on it. Bernard Fade Herb can only ride about 4 horses anyway because of the weight. And he's picked this horse. You got to think, why did Duncan Howells bring this horse down? He's targeting this race. Yeah. I don't know. It's a runner. It has to be a runner. When I see that, it's a runner. But I like Veldskun. I can't find anything else to beat it. I can't give you a reason to back Kitcher-Cole other than the fact that it's come down in trip. Its previous runs, it won its only race it won at 1,200. That was in Scottsville. It's run a couple of races in Kenilworth, so he hasn't brought the horse down. Sorry, he's come down for this one race. There is one other one. I was listening to Lucinda Woodruff on the show on YouTube on the 4 Racing channel, and she was saying she liked this Bullet. So if you want to go a bit wider, you can chuck in Bullet. I was very impressed with the confidence I heard from her, and you can probably stick in Michael Faraday right side of the track as well and Kitcher-Cole. But honestly, this Veldskun, I expect Veldskun to win this race.
Right, let's go to the final race of the day. I mean, if you get to this point,
just to say that form's also been franked quite nicely. Gimmy's Laddie coming out with DeMello in December, and Trippy T coming second out of that form line as well. So the form line's definitely been franked from Veldskun. It is the right favourite. I'm expecting it to win.
Right, well, we're going to the 12th now. You're either going to be chasing, trying to make your money back, or you're going to be cruising at this point. We've got the favourite flying first here at 6 to 1, and you've given us just one here, and it's a rank outsider, Gav. If we can start the second race with Aspect and then finish off with Touch of Grace, we'll be doing okay.
Yeah, so when you see 6-2 on the field, that reminds me of that 40-horse, 8-kilometer race they have in April, the Grand National. The favourites start at 6-1. That just tells you that the bookmakers don't know, the public don't know, nobody knows, and every single one of these people, every single one of these trainers in this race thinks their horse will win. For me, Grant Burr, he's a part-timer, Touch of Grace, the right side of the track again, although it's slightly to the left of that. But again, I'm only looking at the bottom here. I can't be looking at the top. I don't think that the likes of Strawberry Light drawn to 6-1, it's a waste of money. I can't have that. Again, it's the win, but I don't put it in the race. And yeah, I don't like to go into the last race with 16 horses or 5 horses or 8 horses. I like to finish my big days. I'm going to be at the track tomorrow. I'm going to be holding my Touch of Grace ticket in my hand. And, you know, I also have a rule with racing. If they're 8-1 or bigger, I generally take a place as well. So 3-1, you can't go wrong. I think that's probably 4 places, Brent, at that price. I don't know if that's 3 places.
Yeah, paying 4 places. 4
places.
Paying
4 places, yeah. 3-1, about 4 places is great. It's on the right side of the track. It's the right one for me. It's also, okay, so here's an interesting one. La Pura Vida, this is another reason why I took it. Came out and won from this form line. La Pura Vida was the one that was involved with, I'm trying to remember what I wrote here. It was the one with Apple Catcher. So if Apple Catcher wins that first race, I'm going to tell you Touch of Grace should be shortening, because that's a proper form franking. So Touch of Grace in the last race for me. I don't know how people feel, but I wouldn't personally get involved in more than one horse in the last race. It just ends in bad luck stories and all of that. Impressive run from Mulberry Street. It's first time out. Nothing's come out to frank the form, just a couple of places, but it has had a break of 3 months as well for Patrick Krier. That would probably be the only one, but no form to speak of. Ella's Delight at 10-1. No 1200 form coming out of that. There's nothing else here. It's Touch of Grace and 16-1. I'm happy. I can't complain. I'm happy.
Take the double aspect onto Touch of Grace, and certainly maybe a place double on those two as well could work out quite nicely, Gavin. So, yeah, Gav, that brings us to the end. I guess in summary, summarize thoughts.
I wanted to talk about one more thing. About one more thing, Brent, is that they are punting this World Pool Day tomorrow. World Commingled Pools from race 4.
Oh, is that what I saw? The World Pool, the one race is called the World Pool. Okay.
No, I love my maths, and I'd like to say I'm a very intelligent maths person. And I'm going to tell you that that's the biggest load of absolute rubbish I've ever heard in my life. If there's 100,000 Rand in the pool and the horse is paying 5 Rand, and there's R1 million in the race, the horse is also going to pay 5 Rand. Those pools make absolutely no difference to punters. Pick 6, sure. Jackpot, absolutely. You want to tell me there's 20 million Rand in the pick 6 pool? Of course, that makes a difference. But when it comes to race winners and places, makes absolutely no difference. In fact, I'm going to suggest that swingers and exactors are pretty much the same. The only place you might find a bit of value is if you're looking for exactors on some, you've got 2 outsiders. You've got a 14-1 and a 20-1. Then yes, the big world pool, 600 million in Hong Kong, it'll make it pay a little bit more. But honestly, that's a lot of banter from the authorities that have organized all of this stuff, which is, listen, it's let them have their say. But I'm going to tell you that makes no difference. That money is not going to be in the pick 6. It's not going to be in the quartet of the pick 6. It's only going to be on swingers, exactors, places, and wins. And it makes no difference to the payout to the punter. They still take their 25%. There's no difference. Anyway,
no, I'm with you there.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I'm with you there. The only thing, and on a race day like this, I agree it wouldn't make much difference. But it's quite interesting. The only time I would say that wouldn't apply is if you've got really small tote pools. And I'll tell you what, I went greyhound racing with Brendan. We went to the Ladbrokes track there in Crawley in the UK.
Yeah, he sent me some photos with the ice. There was snow on the field.
No, it was great, man. But what was funny is, I think you could have got a fixed odd bet at the odd bookie, but there was no bookies on course or anything. And you sat up there and you placed your bet literally cash via the tote. What happened is the tote pools obviously it was just the people there really playing, as far as I could tell. And so what would happen is if you stuck £2 on the horse, it didn't influence the market too much, but stuck £5 on, and your horse was almost the favorite. And in that case, I would agree with your comments, as long as it's a true tote pool. In other words, as long as you've got a bit of depth in the pool, then I totally agree with you. At the end of the day, it's going to pay. There's going to be it's going to work both ways. There's absolutely no difference with a commingled pool. And as you say, a bit of a marketing ploy from the guys, and good luck to them. If it brings people to racing and ups the tote turnover, then I guess it's done its job.
Yeah, so I'll close off, Brent, by saying, listen, I've given you the things to include. So this is not, you can take a pick six and all of that with the selections I've given you. But if you win, you'll be cutting into my dividend. But the reality is, add your own horses in as well. I've always said that to people.
You better open a Patreon account quick, Gav, in case someone wins the pick six and wants to make a donation.
If I win the pick six, Brent, I'll buy a Patreon.
Excellent, Gavin Cohen. Be great chatting to you on the horses. And tell me something. Your YouTube channel. What are you doing with it? Because I know
I haven't decided, Brent. It's just lurking in the midst of ambivalence. It's just doing nothing.
Are you open to hostile takeovers or big money buyouts?
Yeah, I want to do something. I just haven't got around to it. I will get there eventually, and I'm going to put this video on there as well. So maybe it'll get you a few more viewers as well, and ignite a little bit. So yeah, listen, Brent, we've spoken about this very informally, but I'm happy to do this kind of thing once a week for the Saturday. I do enjoy my Saturday racing. I do get involved most days, but I put in to get all this stuff that we've spoken about in the last 45 minutes. I'm telling you, I spent 3 hours on this. And guys don't have 3 hours every day to do it. I don't have 21 hours a week to go and sit and study it. I normally pick a couple of races and I put 10 minutes into it. But yeah, on a day like this, I'm happy to chuck 3 hours into it. And hopefully I'll make people some money. I just like that one in the last, and I like the one in the second. But also those favourites, Royal Aussie, Veldskun. I don't know. I'm smiling because I could be taking my wife on a proper trip very soon.
Yeah, and it's good. But I mean, you're in for a great day tomorrow at the track. I mean, the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Probably surpassed only by the Durban July. In its own way, it's unique. It probably isn't an equal to the Durban July.
I've never been before, so this will be my first Met. So yeah, I'm quite excited.
Excellent. We'll look forward to feedback, and hope you're still standing, not only punting wise, but also I'm not sure you're going to have a couple of beers while you're there as well. So enjoy it. Have an early night, and really appreciate your input there, Gav, and good racing to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brent. Cheers, guys.
Great, man. And to all the viewers and Peter Paul there in the live chat, thanks for watching. And make sure you check out that newsletter. I have put a link in the live chat there, but excellent promotion for the poker players there. You can get yourself into Sunday's tournament worth 5,500 Rand and a minimum prize of 300,000 if you win it. Anyway, till next time, everyone, we'll see you Thursday night, 9 o'clock for the handicap rugby chat that matters.